a mother duck. This mother duck had no children yet, for none of her eggs have hatched. She waited patiently, day and night for babies to hatch. And one day, as she was sitting on her nest of eggs, the mother duck found something moving behind her. Crack, 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 filled with happiness, the mother duck watched her swan by one her eggs hatched. She was so excited to lead her children to the pond and teach them all the ways of being a duck. Unfortunately for the mother duck, one egg was left to hatch. This egg was larger than grass. This egg was browner than grass. Her little ducks impatiently waited for 2 more days and nights.
I want to go to the pond, Mother. Let's go.
But the mother duck made them all wait, for she promised herself that she would love all her children the same. At the crack of dawn, and on the 3rd day of waiting, the large brown egg began to vibrate. It shook and shook as all the ducks wished it out. Then suddenly, crack! Out from the large brown egg popped a large, strange-looking head of a bird that didn't look much like a duck. This baby's beak was a little too big, too long. His feathers was a little too scruffy, and his face was a little too ugly. But nonetheless, the mother duck promised herself that she would love all her children the same. She led her children into the nursery pond and began to teach each duckling how to get proper duck. She taught them how to quack. Each duckling quack. Quack! The ugly duckling quack. All the ducks in the pond stared at the ugly duckling and began to laugh. The mother duckling safely took all the little ducklings over to a different part of the pond. The other ducklings were eager at every part of the ugly one. 2 nursery ducks swam by and pecked at the ugly duckling's feathers.
This one looks nothing like your others.
This one's so ugly.
The ugly duckling hung his head in shame. The mother duckling became very embarrassed of her ugly duckling and stayed in the corner of the pond. While the others practiced swimming, quacking, splashing, and diving. One evening, as all of the ducks in the pond had gone to sleep, the ugly duckling decided that it was time for him to leave. He knew he was causing his mother distress, and he didn't want to live in a place where he felt unwanted. So the little ugly duckling ran away.
He walked far away from the pond where he was born. The ugly duckling came to an even larger pond filled with a family of geese. The goslings were a brown gray like he was. Happily, the ugly duckling fell to the water edge, plopped his little body in the water, and swam towards the family of geese. He ate first of the gosling, who looked even larger and grayer than.
Hello there. Who are you? What are you? You sure are ugly.
As this ugly duckling. Before the duckling called waggle of the geese around him, and the father goose said,
Even though you're ugly, you can still stay with us. You're very welcome to join our family.
the ugly duckling could be happier. The geese were very kind to him, took their horns, heard his ears. Many days and nights, and the ugly duckling was living happily with the geese. He loved to play with the gosling, and the mother and the father treated him like their own. Everything was perfect until a hunter and his geese had approached the pond. The hunter came fearing of shoots and the geese, and the hunt cast the birds around to pond trying to catch one. The ugly duckling could do nothing but sit still. A hound approached him, sniffed for a while, and cocked its head.
What are you? You sure are ugly.
It sighed before it ran off in search of the real goose. In the midst of the utter ambush, the ugly duckling sadly wiggled off once more. He growing larger, his feathers were coming, and the ugly duckling was able to fly off the ground. However, the ugly duckling had become very weak and hungry. He did have enough strength to fly.
Instead, he waddled his way to a small house where he took shelter during the night. In the morning, the ugly duckling woke to the sound of human chatter.
What is it?
A dog, perhaps?
Just what we need.
With that, the farmer and his wife allowed the ugly duckling to live with them in the hopes that the duck will soon lay eggs. They waited and waited, but nothing ever happened. The ugly duckling never laid eggs, but he did, however, grow larger and harder to take care of. Though the farmer and his wife has grown very fond of the duckling, they had no more room in him in their house, and so they shoot him out.
Go find yourself a family that love you.
The ugly duckling hung his head and waddled far away from the farmer's house. He waddled through now frozen marsh plants and large frozen river reeds. He waddled over frozen bundles of sticks and frozen piles of down. All this waddling made him colder than ever. Miraculously, the ugly duckling had survived the cold winter. With spring, all the frozen ponds melted and the frost evaporated from the marsh plants and river reeds. The ugly duckling was still sad. However, he approached a crystal clear pond and saw a family of the most beautiful birds he had ever seen. Swans. As he sat by the water's edge, he did not even dare to ask his birds if he could join them, for he knew if he was too ugly to live with humans, ducks and geese, he was surely too ugly to live with a gorgeous bevy of swans. Suddenly, a swan gracefully glided through the water over to where the ugly duckling was sitting.
My. Your feathers are the whitest I have ever seen. How they gleam in the sun.
Confused, the ugly duckling wandered to the water and peered at his reflection. Much to his surprise, he was not an ugly duckling after all, for he was a beautiful white swan with a long and elegant neck. He entered the water and joined his new family. One day, as the swans were swimming, a man and his wife came strolling by with their child. The swan recognized this couple as the farmer and his wife. They approached the edge of the pond and began to feed the swans breadcrumbs. The farmer looked at the once ugly duckling and said,
It looks like you found yourself a niche, a family. You are the most beautiful swan I have ever seen.
And so, for the rest of his days, the ugly duckling, now a swan, lived happily ever after with his new swan family. And often, the farmer and his wife came and greeted him. The end.
And the moral value from this story is we shouldn't discriminate people judging by their physical appearance, and we should never give up on following our passions and finding our place in society.
So this is the end of our story. I hope you enjoyed this story very much. Thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.